Oh, hello. How are you? It's me, Lou, in the car again. It's Tuesday, May 29th, the year of some spaceman, 2018. It's a pretty rough day for this guy so far. I did not sleep at all. So, I'm super tired, as you might imagine. I had kind of a crazy evening. Memorial Day weekend, okay. Long weekends like this, we never go anywhere, so kind of stayed around, bought some shirts at TJ Maxx, that kind of thing. But we really didn't do much. On Friday, we went over to some friend's house to have cocktails. I made a cocktail that I had sampled at this Harlem Eat Up thingy that Jody and I went to a few weeks ago. It was a Hendrix gin with pressed cucumber and jalapeno simple syrup and some lime stuff. It went over pretty well. Complicated to make, sure. It was funny because Hendrix made this cocktail at this Harlem Meetup thing, which was, basically a smorgasbord style. Sampled these foods from this different companies and whatever, but there's a lot of booze as well as the normal food things. And the Hendrix had this table, and they had a really cool sort of like, Rube Goldberg kind of a contraption making drinks, the super unnecessary but like cool steampunky looking thing that was making doesn't matter, but they were making a kind of a neat looking drink, and it was just sort of like bloop 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 bloop, and then it all get filtered through this ice and end up in a little cup for you. But so they were giving away a booklet of all the different drinks that you can make with the Hendrix. And when I looked in the book, the drink that I wanted to make was not in there, but I took a picture of the display and looked up the drink online and discovered that it was readily available, the whole ingredient deal. So anyway, that was Friday. Nice time making cocktails. Some awesome sunset. If you follow me on Instagram, check out the photo that I posted on Instagram. My Instagram is King Lou. No spaces. An interesting thing about my Instagram is there are a lot of young African American men who call themselves King Lou or go by that moniker, and I'm frequently, not as much these days, but still occasionally tagged in people's photos when I wasn't there or don't share the same interests. The most recent one is some sort of Muslim thing. Good morning, whoever it is that is watching. I hope, they're gone. I hope you're enjoying yourself. Anyway, so I was having, Ace was away this weekend. He slept over at someone's house. He came back and, it's one thing, as you may know, I've been laid off from my job at Riot Games. The entire office was closed. But it's one thing to get laid off, and it's another thing to have your angry 14-year-old teenage son basically use that against you when he's angry at you and say like, you don't do anything, you're sitting around here doing it, when you're asking him to do his homework, right? You'd be like, why are you giving me a hard time? You don't do anything around here. You don't have a job. You might imagine. This elicited a response that he was not prepared for. Anyway, that was part of the reason I couldn't sleep last night. And then at 2:30 in the morning, when I was getting ready to go to bed, because I was having trouble sleeping, getting ready to go to bed. I'm tired, literally brushing my teeth, when all of a sudden I hear crazy jackhammering. And the crazy jackhammering was because, and earlier, rewind, around midnight, Jody came out and told me she had let the fire department into the building, and because we can buzz people in on the door on our phone. When people buzz us at the intercom, it rings our phones. So it rang her phone. She let the cops in, and I went to go talk to the fire department. I went to go talk to the fire department, and the fire department was like, oh, we're getting some gas hits out of this manhole cover. And I was like, all right, just come and find out why my wife let you into the building. Apparently they were looking for the source of this leak. So fast forward to 2:30 in the morning, getting ready to get into bed, brushing my teeth, and then all of a sudden, brrr, 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 and that is the National Grid was out here tearing up the street at 2:30 in the morning with a jackhammer to try to get this leak under control, I guess. And while I totally appreciate the fact that they are doing their jobs, I was not able to relax after that horrible noise. I went to go sleep on the couch because I knew I had to move the car, and ended up just not sleeping at all. So I played a couple of games, 2-3 games of Super Mega Baseball 2. Then I played this Trackmania game that's a lot of fun on the Xbox. It was free a couple months ago, so I finally played it, and I was like, oh, this is pretty fun. Pretty fun driving game. The game's pretty short. Does not live zero stakes. Just lots of young ladies walking to school this morning. Yeah, so it was a pleasant way to pass the time. And it kept away the sleepies. I'm going to pay for it later. I'm hoping that I can get some sleep the minute everyone is out of the house. I have been drinking coffee. I did get Joe Coffee, which is the coffee place that you can see. You can't see it. It's over here. But the coffee's okay. It's really expensive for a guy with no job. And I kind of regret it. And also, they have these weird dribble cups that, like, no matter what you do, coffee drips out of the lid. Like, between the lid and the cup. All over everything. So, it was a big-time loser mode this morning. What else is going on? Oh, here's a funny thing. As I may have mentioned before, that Asher, son 2, he's been really into this book series about Nathan Hale and reading all about different wars. And so he's constantly asking me questions about World War II, World War I. You know, the ones where America won. And they were showing on the news this guy. They were like, this is the last remaining survivor of the Doolittle raids from World War II. Now, the Doolittle raids, for those of you who don't remember, were when the United States launched bombing attacks on Japan in order to prove that Japan was touchable and that we would be bombing them again in the future. Because up until then, the actual island of Japan had been untouched. So they made this plan to launch these bombers off of aircraft carriers, which was, these are sort of unheard of because these are really big planes, and they had to do it like when the aircraft carrier was like on up pitch from the water, and like it was very risky flights. They had not a lot of room to take off, and So they did it. But so the last remaining dude was alive, and I was like, "Hey, Asher, look. This guy is the last remaining guy from the Doodle Raid," and Asher knew who he was. Asher was like, "Oh, that's Richard Cole. He was the captain of the plane." Like, I was like, "Holy shit, that's amazing." The details I had forgotten, but I mean, he just like pours over these Nathan Hale's Dangerous Tales. Oh, look at that guy! Look at that person behind me. They're stretching, tying a shoe, maybe. Oh, only one shoe. Just checking a shoe. So it's kind of a funny thing. And then, pardon me, trying not to vomit. Successful? Yes. So yeah, that was kind of a neat thing, and he is frequently surprising me. He has some trouble telling a linear story, but he definitely knows a lot of facts. Now, if he could just stop being a pedant, I'd appreciate that. Good morning to whomever is watching this morning. It's a lot of people dipping in and dipping out. Oh, why are people dipping in? What the fuck is going on with my technology? Quiet mode. Swipe left. I did swipe left. You see what I'm doing? Oh, so frustrating. What? Swipe. It's hard to tell what's going on. My phone is, I don't know what the deal is with my phone right now. I just had the battery replaced, and that made a difference for a little while, but like, just like everything about it is starting to suck hard. I did get this phone in 2014. Late 2014. I got it when I came back from Korea after the big show we did in Seoul. But it's just kind of being a dog. Like when I change apps, it's like, I gotta think about this one for a little while. And I gotta delete, I guess I gotta delete some media or something. Maybe it's that the memory's full. Who knows? I was just looking this morning, because of my insomnia, I was up looking through some old hard drives, and I did find my old public access show, What Was I Thinking, where Finn, Melchior, and I went to Macworld when they still used to do Macworlds at the Javits Center. And I mean, we got there at like 4 or 5 in the morning, and then we both had sort of like camping chairs that we set up, sat in this stupid ass line. And then this is from before Steve Jobs announced that he had pancreatic cancer. So it's just kind of a funny thing to see us talking about all these different now forgotten Apple initiatives that were happening back then. Or Finn was very specifically excited about the idea of when he listens to his iPod, he'll be able, like, it will remember the songs he skips and play them less often. Seems like common sense. I don't know if that's still in effect. I cannot tell who is watching because of this goddamn... What the fuck? The fuck is going on here? Pardon my language. I'm extremely tired. I have not slept. So, but like, I'm moving my shows. It normally shows... that should not have happened. Oh well, it normally shows who's talking. If anyone's talking. But I can't... Can I... Oh, I didn't know. Can I respond? Normally it shows who's watching, and even if no one is watching. Phooey on this goddamn thing. All my Apple products are failing me now. My iMac is acting weird. That one's not even that old. Yeah, it's I'm actually, for the first time in my adult life, considering buying a PC laptop, just because I'm so frustrated with Mac hardware right now, especially because the Mac hardware at the top end of the laptop world is something I hate. Because that fucking touch bar at the top. I mean, the absolutely worst gimmicky piece of shit you could ever put at the top of a computer. And luckily, when Riot asked me to no longer work there, they took that piece of shit laptop back. But now I don't have a laptop at all. So, thinking about new laptops. What am I going to do with a new laptop? Looking at like either one of those Surface Pro deals, or like I was considering iPad Pro with pencil, because I really like, I've sort of rediscovered drawing again, and I like the idea of drawing. I don't know if I can justify that. It's not as expensive as getting a new laptop. But do I want that, or should I just get something like a Lenovo Yoga or whatever that is, or a Samsung the foldable laptop, whatever. Doodads. It's hard to justify. Then the only problem is that then I have to source all the new software for those things, and Lord knows, in this fucking era of subscription services, they're gonna try to nail you on fucking subscriptions. Fucking hate it. I'd rather just buy a software and use it as long as I can without having to update it or upgrade it to the next version. You know, like I'm still using on this computer, my iMac, Microsoft Word from 5 years ago. It's perfect. I don't need whatever upgrades they have to that shit. What was the other thing I was going to say? Oh, stop talking about computers. I was moving. Oh no, when I was sitting here at 6:30 in the morning, because I moved my car, because I was like, gotta get out, move the car. I was concerned that the construction would still be going on, even though they only jackhammered for maybe 15 minutes at 2:30 in the morning. But I was concerned that there would still be trucks out here trying to solve the mystery of the gas leak. But they were not out here. But I moved my car, and the meter maids were out. The parking enforcement dudes were out. It was two Asian guys, and there was a car up in front, maybe 5 or 6 cars ahead. There were no cars between that car and me, and I did take a picture of that car getting a ticket. That car got a ticket, and then a car back here got a ticket. When the ticket enforcement, parking enforcement guy came by, he gave me like a real dirty side eye from like when he was walking up past the car. I was just like, I see you, you goddamn vulture, you blood-sucking parasite. I didn't tell him I hated him, but maybe I should have said, I hate the job you do. Please never give me a ticket. I don't know if he would have understood what I was saying because of the nuance. Holy shit, I am exhausted. Do you like anime? My friend Constantine alerted me to the fact that this Sword Art Online Season 3 is on, called Sword Art Alternative, Gun Gale Online. Gun Gale is another VR game. Sword Art Online is a anime about people who play this virtual reality game that they all get sucked into and they can't log out, and if they die in the game, the headgear that they are wearing will microwave their brains for real in real life, and they can't remove the machine without microwaving their brains. And I really liked the first series. So I was just happened to be rewatching the second series and was just sort of stunned. I think I watched the first 2 series on my phone, like on the way to work, or my actual iPod. That's how long ago this was. And I really liked it. But watching the second series again on my phone or on Netflix, I was horrified at how shitty the animation is and how often there's like no animation. It's a classic like phoned in animation deal where it's like most of the time it's just a close-up of someone's face and they're thinking, and like the only thing that's moving is like the glisten in their eyes. So it's just like, you know, just like a little like small cycle of like them, and then the whole time and they're like, could it be? Is he the man who killed everyone in the game? Yeah, it was sort of like, or like it'll be 2 people talking and you can't see their mouths because it'll be cut off, and they'll just be like walking and be like, yeah, that was a good time. The time we talked about the thing, we fought the dragon, great. Be like, holy shit, like they're getting away with doing literally nothing. No animation. And then at some point in every game there'll be a kind of a neato scene or episode, a neat scene where somebody like does a move and then they sword chop or shoot a gun and then they die. But even that, it's like the smallest part of the show. The rest is almost all exposition. I was really surprised I had not realized that in the first watching. Now, this Gun Gale Online Sword Art 3, similar. Then it has a very weird story about a person who is like shy and wants to appeal to themselves, or to sort of like be stronger than they are in real life. It's all that usual stuff. There's a dude with no shirt pacing outside of the building, and then he just let himself in. Clearly some weird stuff happening. Yeah, this guy he's been walking around forever, and he just took his shirt off, walked around some more, stared at me, and then opened the door and let himself into the building. I don't get it. But I'm not even going to think about it anymore. Well, my time is almost up. I wish I knew why I can't see who's watching, but I can't. Well, when I have to move the car back at 5, I'll hope to have it figured out. Oh my God. Why? Yeah. Anyhow. Hey, someone else is watching. Let me see if I can see before they're gonna let me. Oh no! People keep looking and then logging out or closing the window. I want to see who it is. I can't deal. I'm having a hard time. It's an overcast, gross day here today. It's gonna get real nice and warm and muggy. Not looking forward to that. I'm hoping to sleep through it. Gotta reset the clock, because otherwise I will be miserable. Not that I'm not already. Okay, well, thanks for watching if you watched, or just doing your own thing. You don't have to watch me to enjoy your morning. I mean, I think it makes your morning better if you do. But, yeah, man. Please enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going. Oh, yawn. Sorry, I didn't mean to yawn. No, please don't yawn. It's I don't want you to yawn. Yawning for me makes sense. You know, another disappointing thing was I was looking at my Super Mega Baseball season that I'm playing. I'm playing the, I don't know where they're from, the Sirloins. And the Sirloins, I thought I was playing like a 16-game season. Turns out I'm playing a 48-game season. And I'm like 23 games in. I have 6 losses. Maybe 7. Yeah, it's funny. I'm playing at a difficulty where the computer is not very friendly and has crushed me quite a few times. And I have a tantrum when I lose, and I break things, and people are like, it's just a game, and I'll be like, fuck you! It's not just a game! I'm living my life vicariously through these computer people! It's true. Anyway, it's now time that I can get out of the car without getting a ticket. 5 minutes before 8 o'clock. A guy came by and asked me what the rules were today. For some reason, people like to ask me the rules about the parking bullshit. All right, my peeps. Hang loose, howlies. I will see you later when it's time to move the car back to the other side of the street. Peace out, freaks. Oh, God.